How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Happy Thursday, I guess, right? Thursday, I think. It's been a bit of a raucousy week here. I don't quite have everything pulled up, but I've been working on stream adjustments this morning. How's everybody doing? Where is my list of? Oh, that's right. I need the chat. Need some chat. Momentito. Sorry for the delays. I just uploaded a what do you call it? A thumbnail too. Pretty thumbnail. So here's the rundown for today. There it is. That's what I want. I have been working hard on wLED, as probably many of you have, and I've been working on the next video, which is going to be a lot of settings and things like that. But what I realized when I was doing that video was that there's a lot of stuff that's probably interesting to some, but not necessarily important for everybody. But I still wanted a way to get out all that information. So that's what we're going to do. Choo choo. Oh, is it really, Fran? How's it going? Frank's here. William's here. How's it going? All right. James is here. Rob was first. Slovenia, nice. Get your lights up in Bluffdale if you want to see. Oh, awesome. Man, that's not too far away. I got friends out in Bluffdale. Hello from Brazil. So what have you guys been working on? Is everybody doing LEDs pretty much? Sure seems like it. There was one other thing I want to try and do, but we'll have to do a little bit of finagling because I didn't quite get everything ready. All right. Smoked another Node MCU last night. How'd you do that, Alex? I'd like to know. There's plenty of good ways to do it, that's for sure. Ohio, hey, Jeff, how's it going? Dominican Republic. Oh, that reminds me. Has Tollbringer showed up yet? Where's my mail? Oh, 1 second. So we all know Tollbringer, right? He's around a lot. Will Hutchinson. He sent me a little care package from Canada. Oh, hey, my if this then that notice just popped up. That's the first time it's done that within the first hour. So look what he sent me. So now when you get stickers, you get a return label. Will sent me a whole bushel of them. Look at that. I got plenty. That'll last a while. Thank you, Will. That's awesome. And I've got right here a pile of, these are the stickers for the last month or so, all sitting here ready to go out. I just got to put stamps on them and can send them. Another wLED stream. You know what, Camel? I think we're going to do a lot of wLED streams for the next month or so. Trying to hook up 2 strings with a custom-made splitter. I think it had some wires crossed. Oh, yeah. That'll do it. All you got to do is put negative to positive and positive to negative, and poof. At least in some of them. I think at least I've done that for the D1 minis a couple times. It's amazing. You look at it and you go, okay, yeah, this is right. You put it together and then it goes poof. And no, it was not right. From Iowa, installing RGB wLEDs on your girlfriend's house tonight. Going to use wLED to control the segments with sync. Nice. Perfect. Perfect. wLED is amazing. Had an issue. You may need to download the drivers. Oh, yeah. Yep. Bobby, I didn't call you? I'm sorry, man. Wait, what? More than enough hints? I missed something. Okay, let's do the thing. Let's do the thing of the thing. So, what we gonna do? Let's just start with, well, we can keep answering questions the whole time too. But I've got here, this is my little string that's on the desk right here. And I've got the brightness turned way down so that it's not too terribly bright. You can still see a little bit of that. Color coding for crossing those wires. Yeah, maybe if we made like, I don't know, the positive like black and the negative red, maybe that would do it. We wouldn't make mistakes anymore. IP67 LED strips lights here. Can use wLED to make Your own color dancing? Absolutely, Rolando. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Got a 4-pack of Node MCUs coming tomorrow, along with some step-down converters. Very nice, very nice. Woohoo! First live stream for Raver. Welcome, man. Welcome, welcome. You know what? Let's do also. Let's pull up the web interface at the same time. What do you think of that? The problem with that a little bit is that it does, if I refresh, it will go back to the other one. So I can do it by changing this user interface. I can make it auto and then save. But if I refresh this one, oops, let's move them. Whoop, whoop. That's better. That's better. And then Arthas gets to be in the picture. He needs his Santa Claus hat. It's about time. All right. So let's go through some of the things I think are important. So most of you guys have probably already gone through a lot of the settings and figured stuff out, I would think. But I thought, let's go through some of them in detail, just in case there's things you missed. So here in the Wi-Fi setup, this part right here, static IP, mucho importante. Mucho importante. I think that's Spanish. Move that thing out of the way just a little bit more. So if you've had problems with your wLED boards going offline, like they seem to disconnect from your network and you can't reconnect them without going and manually resetting them, then do this. In fact, I would just say do this even if that hasn't been happening to you, because it might happen. And this is one good way to help it not happen anymore. So it gives you your IP address once you've connected, even if you go through the app. So here's another great thing about wLED that makes it so easy for new people that don't really dig into their router and a bunch of more technical stuff like that. All right, Corey. Hey, Corey's our first new subscriber of the day, and I've got a new little graphic. Corey. You like it? I like it. Thanks for subscribing, Corey. Muy importante. Muy importante. When you connect wLED to, when you turn on the app and you discover new devices, and you, it will add those devices to that app, and then you'll see, well, I guess I should, when you open this user interface and you go to here, it will show you your IP address. So when it shows you your IP address right here, that's all you need to put in here. So you don't have to go to your router, right? You don't have to go on your router. You don't have to use Fing. You don't have to try and find anything. Shall I leave and resubscribe? Sure, if you want to see the graphic again. Anyway, so it gives you your IP address. Once it's connected to your network, it gives you your IP address right here. That's great. If you put your IP address in here, you don't have to go to your router to set a reserved IP address. I still do, but that makes one less thing for somebody out there that doesn't do these kinds of things a lot to not have to do and not get messed up on. So awesome. It gives you your IP address right here. And if you put it in here, you will, you'll have less problems with disconnect. That's for sure. That's for sure. Do they show up in MQTT integrations? Mine have, Coda. Mine have. We can talk about that before the end as well, because mine do show up in like automatically in Home Assistant. I haven't had any issues, but other people have had some issues. Let's move these lights down here a little more even. I have had some people tell me that they have had issues with it not doing auto discovery. And I don't know exactly why. I think part of it is depending on how you've set up your MQTT. I think in most cases at this point, very few, if any of us, still should have an MQTT section in the configuration.yaml. If you do, you probably want to rearrange things and use the integration instead. So once you do, if you use the integration, then when you go to set it up, if you go here to integrations, you'll have this, or something like this, right? When you hit that, up here, this has changed a bit, by the way. This has changed a bit, because it didn't used to show all these things here. And I don't know why it shows some and doesn't show others. I don't exactly know what's all going on in here. But when you go here, this says something about, here, turn those off. This says something about newly discovered entities. Well, so if you turn this off, then new discovered entities won't be added to Home Assistant. So I'm assuming that when it's on, that means discovery is on, right? So it should find them at that point. If you do have it where you still have an MQTT section in your configuration.yaml, then maybe what you need to do is add MQTT discovery true or something like that. But wLED has never worked, and I have used YAML. My MQTT is running on another Docker container on my Unraid server. That's probably part of the problem then, and that's okay. You know what, Stephen? It's not a big deal. It's nice to have the MQTT discovery, but if you don't have MQTT discovery and you do it manually, you actually can add some other functions that, at least right now, aren't part of what gets added when they do discovery, when it gets auto-discovered. So nothing's working. Tried everything possible. Nothing's working. Dang it, Coda. Well, then, you know what? It's okay. Like I just said, it's okay. You can still add it manually. I can give you what you need to add manually. You want it? Of course you do. Of course you do. I think we did. I've got so many tabs already. We're not making any progress at all today. Whoop. Huh? Mm-hmm. Yeehaw. GitHub. That song's catchy, isn't it? Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Glenn, how's it going, man? Have I tried add a sensor to Abadilli, like a temp or motion sensor? No, William, I haven't, and I don't know that that's going to be possible. That would be, it's probably not a priority for Eric Cookie and whoever else he has helping him work on the code. It's probably not a priority for them. It would be cool if it was, but it might not be. And then the other thing is, you could do it probably, but you'd have to get into the Arduino code yourself and set it up that way, and then compile it yourself and stuff. So maybe, I mean, I sure, it's all possible, whatever you're capable of doing. I just, I don't see myself doing that. And maybe, I know Air Cookie's working on the next, said it's possible, but you have to add it manually. Yeah, there you go. You got to just get in there and do it yourself. So I have not done that. And I unfortunately am still not Arduino savvy enough. All right, let's see if this is the one. Yes, okay. So what we've got here, this is on my GitHub here, and I will share this with y'all. That's what we call friends around here, is y'all. So if you've got, so you get to this part here, configuration, and you want to add it manually. So here you go. You've got the light component, and this will give you control over RGB, brightness, and an effects list. And this is what the effects list looks like. It's humongous, 80 effects. I guess technically that's 81. Anyways. Then I added a couple other things here. One is an input select for the presets. So that'll make a drop-down menu for your presets. And leave this number here alone. Don't change this number. But you can change the name here if you want. And so if your number 1 is your Christmas, and number 2 is your wife's birthday, and number 3 is your anniversary, and number 4 is your mother-in-law's birthday, all those kinds of things that are really important to remember, you can put those, I know, Thursday stream, right? It's crazy. You put those names in here, whatever the names you have for your different presets, all right? So this will make an input select for your presets. This will make an input select for all of the palettes that are already part of wLED. Why is my chat? I guess it's okay. The new chat's at the top. I'm looking up there and seeing that all this chat is behind my fat head. Anyways, So this is the palettes list. So it'll make a drop-down menu for the palettes list. Oh, and I guess I don't, well, maybe should we mention, Frank, what you're working on? You want to tell everybody? Kind of, sort of, not ready? I don't know. You tell me. And then we're going to have 3 more sliders here. This is one for the speed for the effect, one for the intensity of the effect, and then another one for the overall brightness, which you don't really need. No, okay. We're not talking about what Frank's doing. All right. So this is what you need to add to your configuration.yaml. So that's part of it. It's not the whole thing. That's part of it. The next part, the other half, is what you have to add in automations. And this was really cool and got some, I got some good input and some good help from Air Cookie and a couple other guys on Home Assistant. Tinkerer, I think, and who else was it? Tinkerer and, oh gosh, one of those studs, one of those awesome guys on Home Assistant Discord that are always in there helping everybody, you know, and probably don't get enough credit. But anyways, they help me out make these payload templates. So what we've got here, this first one, this is the automation that takes what you do with the input number slider for the speed, and it sends an MQTT topic to all of your wLED controllers. And this little payload here is the magic that takes the number you put from the slider, turns it into a number, and sends it as the payload for the SX command so that wLED knows what to do with it. How many addressable LEDs can, you know what, the Christian, that's a good question. I get that question a lot. And I think, I don't know that there's a hard rule that says, oh, an ESP chip, you know, ESP8266 can only control bang number of LEDs. I've heard people say 2,000. So what do you guys think? Is anybody out there running more than 2,000? Is anybody getting close to 2,000? I don't have any controllers that are running that many. But you know, at the same time, I think it's pretty easy to just add new controllers if you have different sections. It's easier to add new controllers than probably to run a whole strip of 1,000 or 2,000 LEDs altogether. Look at that. Steven's got 1,647 and it works. Sean, thanks for the videos. Tasmatize the Sonoff, automated, family room lights, entertainment center, and office light. Nice work. Nice work, Sean. Drop that. Didn't spill. It's okay. Diba from GitHub. Diba Sashu from GitHub. How's it going? Thanks for being here. That's awesome. All right. The next one here we've got is, this is the intensity. It does the same thing, but when you have the slider, it sends the right command back to all of your wLED controllers through MQTT, through the IX command, and it gives it the intensity. And then this next one does the brightness. Okay, great, same thing. The next one here is what takes the information from the input select list for the palettes and sends it. That looks like a lot of Dr. Pepper. This one's just water today. So far this morning, it's just water. Oh, I'm the reason you got into Home Assistant rolling? Awesome. You're welcome. Ben, Grandpa Ben, old Grandpa Bruh Ben is the reason I got into Home Assistant. And LEDs. My daughter Zoe and LEDs, that's the other reason I got into it. What does the refresh looking icon on the top bar do? Oh, good, we'll talk about that. Yes, we will talk about that. It's the sync one. That's sync. It looks like refresh, but it's sync, and I'll explain it to you because I finally figured it out. It's in the docs. That's where I find all my information, but then I pass it on. It makes it look like I'm really smart. And then the next one here is the wLED's presets. So this is the preset list that says, you know, whenever you select something from that presets list, this sends the right number to wLED, so it does it, right? I do a good job of explaining things. Thank you. Thank you, Diva. Appreciate that, man. Okay, so this is the other thing that you need. But so if you take these two things and you pop them into your configuration.yaml and your automations.yaml, what you will have is one light entity. It'll show up as a light entity, and that will control all of your wLED boards as long as you have an MQTT broker. Got a chiropractor appointment. Oh, I better get there, Alex. Don't want to miss that. Glad to see you, man. The next part of this, so all this stuff that I have in these two files, the configuration.yaml and the automations.yaml, they're set up to control all of your wLEDs together. Any of them that have the group topic that says wLED all. So if you go here and you look at your sync information, sync interface down here. Oh, see, this one says test. I changed it. But if it says all, which I might as well change it back, by default, it says wLED/all in every one of these. If you don't want a certain one of your strips to respond, then you can change that topic. But the way I've got it set up with those two YAML files, all of your LED boards that have wLED/all in this group topic box will get the command from that input select, from the slider, whatever, and it will change all of your lights at the same time. Okay? Now, somebody asked about this sync button. So let's talk about the sync button for a minute, because that is cool and important. Okay, so what you've got in this sync button over here is two arrows, right? Arrow on the top, arrow on the bottom. You can highlight one of them, which right now I don't know if you can see it very well, but the top one is lit. If I change the color, will it show up better? Turn them off. Anyways. Okay, yeah, that's good. If I, that's funny, can't have gray lights. When the top one is lit up, then it is receiving the UDP sync. So wLED has this HTTP API, and so it will send and receive information through just a URL like this, 192.168.1.122, and then it'll say /win and symbol and some commands. So that's how it does the sync, and it's able to do that because they're all on this on the same UDP port. They're all listening on the same UDP port. We can change that. We talked about that a little bit. It's syncing via UDP, not HTTP. Okay, thanks. Sorry. Thank you. Keeping me straight. So UDP, Frank's the man. So when you do this, they're not the same. Sorry. Boy. When the top arrow is lit, then this board here, this controller, will be open to receiving UDP, not HTTP, not TCP, and not HTTPS, but UDP. It will be open to receiving UDP sync information from your other controllers. If the bottom one is lit, then it is sending UDP information. So that would be then the master board. That would be the master controller. If you have this bottom one like this, and then you make a change here, it's going to send that out to all of your other wLED control boards. If you have both of them lit, then it will be sending. It will still be a master, but it will also be receiving. So if you've got some other board, some other controller that you've got set up as a master that's sending, this one will also receive from that one. Okay, and you can then also turn them both off. So both arrows are off. When both arrows are dimmed, it's not sending, it's not receiving, it's operating completely independently, and that's it. It is using UDP broadcast, but hey, details. I don't even understand the difference. But that's okay. I'm glad somebody does. Let's just say it syncs. Let's do say it syncs. Thank you, Frank. Keeping me straight, keeping me honest. So that's what that does. And I'm glad somebody asked, because that was not something that was obvious when I looked at this. It took some, just a little reading and some asking and stuff to figure out what that does. So that's what it does. That's what it does. Everybody probably knows what this is, right? How does it deal with concurrency collisions? I don't know. Is that like a black hole? I don't know. Rips a hole in the universe? I don't know. That's a good question, Will. We could ask Air Cookie on Sunday when he joins me on the stream. Oh yeah. Yeah, talk to Air Cookie, the guy that developed all this wLED stuff. He's going to be with me on Sunday. Pretty cool, huh? Some routers block UDP packets. Oh, really? Deba, well, if that's the case, then I guess you'd have some problems with sync, wouldn't you? Just happened to be watching one of your videos about Node MCU and Tasmota. All right, Alex. Fantastic. Welcome aboard. We're doing some stuff about LEDs all colored LED stuff right now. You can't really even see my fancy little LEDs there on my desk, but they're blinking away. Fun stuff, and it's a good time for holidays and all that stuff. So if you just have one controller, the sync button wouldn't really do anything, right? That's absolutely true. Wabu wouldn't do anything at all. You just have one. It's really only so it's really convenient. So in the past, you had like what I had before when I was using the Ben's old sketch. You had the only way you could get them all to sync together was through Home Assistant. And so if something was down or MQTT wasn't working or whatever, you always had some kind of problems. This makes it so you don't have, you can do this without setting up Home Assistant at all. I think everybody should set up Home Assistant, but some people don't want to, or they're not quite ready yet, and that's fine. This, with wLED, they have the option of still having really cool lights that can do really cool effects and all custom and all kinds of fun things with them. But you don't have to do a lot of other stuff. You don't have to get a Raspberry Pi. You don't have to set up MQTT at all. You can do this way just fine. I'll be chopping down trees and hauling wood on Sunday. Won't be able to make the stream. Oh man. LEDs is next to your list after hijacking your thermostat. Nice. I've hijacked my thermostats. I've got 4 more of those Xiaomi things on the way. The Xiaomi sensors on the way. So use McLighting to control your ARGB LEDs with the Node MCU. So you should compare McLighting. Try wLED if you've got an extra Node MCU and some lights around. Try wLED and compare it with McLighting. I haven't tried McLighting in almost a year, but yeah, wLED is amazing, and it's got, I think, it's better than McLighting. McLighting's great, and I don't want to, you don't have to change. If what you got's working for you, do it. But boy, wLED is amazing. Using wLED with E1.31 is pretty cool. That's right. You have the option to do that as well. I wanted to mention something here. What was it? Oh, people ask about flickering. Has anybody had flickering problems? I have not had flickering problems, but I think it's because I had flickering problems and I learned quickly the way to fix it generally. So here's the rundown on most likely what the problem is with flickering. These LEDs, most of these WS2811 or 2812 LEDs, they're expecting to receive a data signal that is 5 volts. It varies, right? But they're expecting it to be in a certain voltage range, and it's higher. Okay. The Node MCU puts out a data signal that's 3 volts, 3.3, whatever, we get technical, but the idea is essentially that. If you have your Node MCU pretty close in distance to the first LED in your strip, then the 3 volts doesn't have time to drop very much. If your wire's not too small and all, then you've got, by the time the data signal from the Node MCU gets to the first LED, it's still strong enough that it's gonna be fine for showing your effect. It'll tell the LED what to do, and the LED will understand it, and it will show what you expect it to show. It won't flicker. It'll work like you think it will. If that distance between the Node MCU data pin and your first LED gets really long, if there's a lot of resistance in that wire, then that 3 volts will drop, even if it's just a little or a little too much. It'll drop a little too much. And by the time it gets to that first LED, the LED doesn't quite understand what the data signal is trying to tell it, because the voltage is not what it expects it to be. So that's when you start getting a lot of problems with flickering and things just don't work. Good old Ohm's law. That's right. It's not just a suggestion. It's the law. So what can you do to fix that? Number one, the easy thing to do is what I do, and that is I put my Node MCUs like right next to the strip of LEDs. So it barely gets any voltage drop, and I have not had a problem. I've never had to use anything to adjust that voltage. A null pixel will fix it. So if you put a pixel first, yeah, you can do that too. So that's another good, maybe we talk about that in a minute, Paul Thomas. But yeah, how long do I think is the best length, Aaron? Less than a foot, like the length of one jumper wire. That's usually as far as I go. The length of about one jumper wire, maybe 2 jumper wires, and that's it. The other thing that you can do is you can do a logic level converter. And that's what that does is it takes the 3-volt signal plus some raw 5-volt. And this is my way of understanding it, my way of explaining it. So it's probably not technically always going to be right, but it takes that 3-volt signal and then it takes some 5 volts from your power supply and it boosts that 3-volt signal up to 5 volts, but it still lets it change so that the information gets transmitted as it should. And so the LEDs will understand what they're supposed to do. Then if you do that logic level shifter, then you can go, I don't know how far, but a much farther distance before you get to your first LED. When you do, if you're going to do that, probably a nice, or at least another, well, that's what Quindor does with his boards. Quindor builds that in. So when you do, where's his LED stuff? Where's his LED stuff? Quinn LED info. I guess I went to the wrong website. Quinn LED info. Okay. Here we go. So he's got these digital boards now, the wLED Dig Uno. So in here, I think it might be, is it this thing that's the logic level shifter? I think it is. Anyways, Quindor will tell you how to build these. And this has some nice features in it. We talked about this. We had Quindor on the other day. You're probably looking at about $10 worth of hardware and stuff to put all this together and some soldering. So not everybody wants to do it, but it is an option to give you something that will include a logic level shifter and work really well for that kind of a situation where you have to run a long distance. So that reminds me, we need to do, you may have seen, I have PCBWay helping me these days. They're sponsoring. Let's watch this. I have this. This is my reminder to thank PCBWay for actually starting to sponsor the streams now. So I got them to agree to help and sponsor during streams because I don't always have a video out that can be sponsorable. So PCBWay is there. In fact, I think they work with Quindor to make these. So they make these PCBs. I've got some other things that they've made for me. So if you're ever looking for that kind of a thing where you've got a custom PCB, go there, check them out. They're my sponsor. They help me. If you help them, we'll help each other. Okay. Anyways, so that's one way, logic level shifter. Now, Paul, let's talk about this. Oh, you've built about 10 of these. They're so great. Yeah, I think I'm going to start building these for sure. I'm going to start. But for now, I've been fine using just a short distance. It hasn't been a bother to me. Let's talk, Paul. Let's talk about the uses dirty PCBs. At least that's what he used to when I ordered. Oh, I know he does PCBWay these days, or at least he has been. Most recently. But let's talk, Paul, about the null thing. Let's talk about the null pixel thing. So let me see if I understand how it works, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, and you can straighten me out if I'm wrong, which I probably am. If you do a null pixel, that's basically like you're almost doing a logic level shifter anyways. So you take one pixel, you put it within that short distance, it's getting 5 volts, it's getting the data signal, and then when it sends the data signal on, it has boosted that data signal high enough that it can get some further distance before it gets to the next pixel, right? So that pixel, in fact, is that basically what it does? Is there a way for LED to turn off the LED on the Node MCU and the D1 Mini? Oh, that's a good question. No, I don't know. I don't know, Stephen, but I wish there was. I'm going to ask him. But on the wires versus on the board. Okay, so pretty much the same thing. Yeah, Stephen, I agree with you because that blue light it shines a lot if you don't have it taped over or whatever. It'd be nice if we could turn it off. I think, look at this. You tell me what you think about this, Paul, since you're the master of this, it sounds like. And they sell some null pixels that don't have LEDs. Don't mess up anything lighting-wise. Look at this. Look at this option. Air Cookie, in his infinite wisdom, has given us a skip the first LED button. I assume that is to do what you're talking about with this null pixel thing. If you click this, my guess is that first pixel won't light up, but it will still pass on the data and basically function as your logic level shifter. And you never saw that. Thanks. That's what that's for. Yes. Okay, so that's good that you're. Thank you for being here, Paul, and thank you for straightening that out for me, because I wanted to say that in the video, but I wasn't sure it was right, and so I didn't. I left it out, and that's okay. I'll probably still. People can watch this or whatever. But Air Cookie, the dude's a genius. The dude is a genius. Okay, Frank has a pro tip: add some black ink to hot glue and just drop it on the LED on the board. Oh, that's genius, Frank. That's genius. Huh. Awesome. I've been putting electrical tape on them, and it doesn't always stay. Does wLED support sections like Rob's sketch, for example? Yes, it does. It does. And to do that, actually, somebody just sent me a thing about it on Discord, which I don't have Discord opened up right now. So, it's probably why you haven't been hearing a lot of the pings. I get pinged in Discord, bling, 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 and it comes through on the stream sometimes. I can't remember. It was recently. Cortex, was it him? Holy mackerel. Nope. Gray. It was him. Okay. So this fella, if you wanted to set control specific range or part of the LEDs in wLED, for now, you have to use JSON to do it. And it's the same thing. With wLED, all those commands that they give you, you can do through MQTT, you can do through UDP, not HTTP. So I wonder if, I don't know how you would translate this though. But anyways, it's possible, yes. It's not probably right now super user-friendly, super easy, but it's possible. So if you can sort through this and figure out how exactly to do that, or if you want to contact Gray in Discord, that's his Discord tag. He's gonna get bombarded now. That's a butt. That's the backside of it. That's a squirrel butt. That's the backside of a squirrel. See those pings? See the pings coming now? Now the pings are coming from Frank. So anyways, that's Gray number 6868. Frank's going to teach us about, what just happened? What just happened? Everything just disappeared. No. Okay, let's turn it all. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I know what I want. That's what I need so I can actually talk to you guys. What I use segments for is to show us separate lights in home system. Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea, Frank. That is a good idea. And then, that brings me to another point. Man, this is kind of an interesting squirrel today. I'm squirreling around, but based on the same topic. Like we're still talking wLED, but I'm going back and forth about different stuff. Somebody asked, what was it you that ran the LEDs? Yes. What size PVC? It's just got to be, it's just the thin kind. Yeah, I can answer that another time. Pinky Wafer's back. How's it going, Pinky? Boy, have you messed with wLED? It's awesome. It is awesome. You did great work, taking nothing away from what you did because it's awesome. But man, this stuff with wLED right now has just been amazing. Squirrelception, that's right. Not really familiar with using chat on YouTube, but are links not allowed by users? I'm trying to post various resources and methods you're describing. Here, Dale. I think I can make it. I think I can make you. You should be able to, but if not, here, we'll do that. I don't know you, Dale, but I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're here to help. And so you should now be able to post links if you weren't able to before. Oh, you're making more changes to Pinky LED right now? Awesome. With you right now. Squirrel. Oh, you are gray. Oh, good. Gray squirrel butt. Thanks, man. So how's that JSON thing? Is it hard or is it pretty easy to do? I haven't read that page. I glanced at it enough to say, oh, that's cool. And then I moved on. These all got changed. I don't know what I hit, but I hit something and changed all the size of all my stuff. Ooh. Let me do, hold on, I gotta send something real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, sorry. So how you guys? Doc is busy. What's up? Thank you, Frank. Thanks for keeping it going. Tyson's here. How's the bug coming? We'll have to talk about that. It's this next couple of days, I'm gonna have to modify that motor, do something. I got to get that sucker mounted because my batteries are on their way. So I got to get that sucker going. No joy. It still says wLED 0.84. Really? Curtis, can you just? Oh. Well, you know, I haven't tried to do an update. Let's try. So if you go to security and update, manual OTA update. So you should be able then to just grab any, in fact, should be able to grab any bin file. So in this way, you could put, an ESP home sketch or Tasmoda or anything else. So you certainly should be able to put a new wLED bin file on there, you know. I'm not going to do it, but no file chosen. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so then it update and then updates. Is that what you did? Did you try that? Off topic, which Alexa component, oops, sorry, do you guys use in Node-RED? Oh, I don't. So, going to show your power wiring too? Yeah, I can. Mark? I can show you real quick on this setup over here. And you can, what question do you have specifically, Mark, about wiring? Rotary encoders and audio reactive. Oh, audio reactive. That's cool. That is cool. Everybody asks about that. Everybody asks. When you start playing around with LEDs, they say, oh, well, what do they do when you play music, you know? Outdoor long runs, you said you show up. Oh, okay. Let's see, how can I show you in this? I'm trying to think of the best way to show you that. Your outdoor long runs, you show. Oh, have they gone up, Steven? That's a bummer. Mine doesn't say 0. No, does it? Mine says 0.85. Is that somewhere else? Oh yeah, see, I refreshed and now I don't have the mobile anymore. I did invite Air Cookie and he will be here on Sunday with me. He will be here on Sunday. Hey, there's Quindor. Quindor said, oh, there's a new video. I can watch that for a bit. No, it's a stream. You're going to be here for hours. We I just put in a good plug for you, Quindor, and the Digiboard, the DigiUno. Thanks for doing that. $3 more than a month ago. Really? Dang, well, I'm glad I ordered mine a month ago, I guess. That must have just kicked in. Bummer. I know there's a guy, at least here close to me in Utah, that imports a bunch of them. And I don't know how, I don't know how that works. But I think he buys thousands of strings at a time and then resells them here. I don't know. That's a bummer. I was really happy how cheap they are now compared to 2 years ago. I was really surprised. RGB Man, that's right, Tyson. Yeah, that's him. Do you know him? He lives here close by. Just got the YouTube notify. How's it going, Dale? I forgot what we were doing. Oh, Mark asked me about power. So I'll try and explain it, Mark. I don't know how I can show you right now when I'm sitting here. Basically, what you have to do is you have to bring a couple more wires along with you. So 2 more wires from your power supply can be the same positive and negative, just plain, maybe 20 gauge wires or something like that. 22 is probably okay still. And you just run those wires along with your LEDs. And then when you get to the end of a strip of LEDs, or sometimes if you're using 12 volts, you can go several strips before you need to add it in. And then you just connect it to where it gives you the extra pair of wires. Okay. So it gives you at each connection at the end of your strings, it gives you these extra wires. Oh, why is it all laggy and crazy? Oh well. It gives you these extra wires. So that's what those are for. You just connect an extra strip set of power wires to those. I thought I showed that pretty good in that video, in the last video. But I'm happy to try and re-explain things if you need it. Just released a video about that today. Oh, awesome. We'll watch it. Voltage drop, how to prevent and combat it. Nice. I like the title. Buy an outdoor extension cord when on sale. Chop off the ends and put waterproof. Oh, you mean the big power. Okay, yeah. Do what Paul says. Do what Paul says. And that's pretty much exactly what I've done. That's pretty much it. You can use Tupperware to enclose your connections. Poke a couple holes in the Tupperware. Put the connection inside the Tupperware. You can get cheap Tupperware from the dollar store. And then maybe a little hot glue, and you should be reasonably waterproof too, if that's what you're asking. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you're asking. Let's go back to this. There's a couple other things. Let me see. I've got a list. I'll see my list. I've got a list of things from wLED that I wanted to talk about that are really cool, that I think need explaining, or could use explaining anyways. And it's on my list. Oh dear. Oh, I did it again. Why did I do that? Oh, everything just crashed. All of my... Yeah, restore. Oh, that was crazy. All my Chrome windows crashed. Yeah. Okay. Moving over here. Oh, but it didn't bring back my YouTube chat. Dang it. All right. Well, let me pull this up first. Pull up my list of things that I thought were important, most important things. Let's make sure I stay on track. We don't get too much of this. Yeehaw! As I've gone through and written down things for like a script sort of stuff for wLED videos, multiple. My script is 18 pages long. That's long. It's usually like 2. Okay. So we talked about sync. We didn't primary and secondary colors. You guys, anybody have trouble with primary and secondary colors? I think that's pretty straightforward. This is the toggle for primary versus secondary color. So when this switch is over here to the left, then you're working on your primary color. So whatever things you do down here, that changes your primary color. And you can use these buttons to get your primary color. When you click this button over here, and it's now going to control your secondary color. So sort of a background color. And now you can make adjustments here and it will have a background color. If you want to get rid of the background color, make sure this is still on and slide the brightness all the way down. And then that makes it go back to black. So that's primary and secondary colors. That's important. Let me get my chat back up. I am all over the place today. It's funny. I thought I was going to be so focused today. I felt so focused. All right, here we go. Excellent. Okay. So here's some list of topic stuff. So the sleep timer. Does everybody know how to use the sleep timer? So this thing here is, this little moon is the sleep timer. So when you click that, it's now sort of grayed. When you click that, it will start at the timer. And the default is 60 minutes. If you go, let's see, where is it at? LED preferences, I think. Yes, timed light. So you can change that timer to this, or right here. You can change it to whatever you want. So I go to, 30 or 15 or something like that. And it will either slowly fade down. If you click the fade down button, that's the default. Or if you take this off, I think it'll go right to 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever you set it to, and then just click them off. So that's pretty good if you want to make sure you don't forget to turn them off at night. So I do definitely use that, especially for the girls for their night lights in their rooms. So I can't turn it back off. I want to turn back off. That's funny. Huh. Anyways. Things like button functions. Oh man, have you guys played with the button functions? The button functions are awesome. Let's play with the button functions. Turn this back on. Grow this a little. Probably need to adjust the color on this. Is it still going to give me all funky ones? That's too bad. Well, anyways, we'll just show you. So first, wLED makes use of GPIO 0 as a button. On, I think, pretty much every Node MCU, there is a button that says flash. And I don't think you can see it, but it does say flash. My webcam is not cooperating with me today. It's very upset with me for some reason. It won't even focus. There we go. There we go. Okay. So it says, you can see it now probably, it says flash. That button is connected to GPIO 0. So you can do a bunch of these controls. You can do a lot of things with that button. By default, it's set to just, you push it and it turns, oh, I've already changed it on this one. You push it and it turns things on and off. So let's go here, LED preferences. Is that where it starts? Or is it on sync? Maybe it's on sync. User? Nope. Sync. Yes. Okay, so first you have to turn this checkbox here on. So if you want to be able to use GPIO 0 as a button, you need to turn this, oh gosh, get the webcam out of the way, dummy. You need to turn this checkbox on. So now the button is enabled. Then when you get to the macros page, macros, we get talking about macros today because macros are cool and they're not that hard to use. When you get to the macros page, down here at the bottom, you can set what the button does. Okay. I think by default, it's set to 0. Or you can, so 0, well, it's set to 0. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to 2 because 2 will toggle the lights on and off. Will it? No. Anyways, I think 0 is the default. Long press, let's see. It doesn't want to work for me. because it's trying to do macros that aren't there or something. Anyways, you can set something to do when it's a short press. You can set something to do when it's a long press, or you can set a double press. So that's pretty dang useful, right? By default, you just push it once and it toggles, goes on, goes off, and that's the short press. So let's jump right then into macros. You guys good with that? Anybody interested in macros? Probably everybody that's watching this, what's the hardware for this? I'm behind. This is a Node MCU. That's all I'm using. This is a Node MCU. Regular old, good old fashioned Node MCU, ESP8266, and then some pixels. Some WS2812 or 11 pixels. That's it. You could use a D1 Mini. You could. ESP8266 of your choice. So let's check out the wiki and go to the macros page. It doesn't really tell you much in macros. Where all the good information is here is in the HTTP API request page. This gives you all the commands. So each of these parameters here is a command that you can run through a macro or through MQTT or through UDP, and it all works. You have to format it a little bit differently based on whatever your I just didn't go back on now. Let's do this. There we go. Based on what you're doing. But for macros, it looks like this. So when you want to set up a macro, you want to find out, well, think about what you want to do. In this case, I want to set an effect. So if I go to set LED effect, the command is FX. So over here, I'm going to start with FX. And then it's FX equals, and then the number tells me 0 to 79. That's the list of effects. I'm going to set the number to 74. That's color winkle. I like color winkle. And then you separate your commands with an AND symbol, the fancy little AND, the D&D AND. This right here needs an integration. Yep. That's what I'll tell you. Yep. Yeah, there it goes. Now it's cycling through I've set it to cycle through my presets. We'll show that's coming up. All right, so then the next little command here, SX, this will set the effect speed. So I set the effect speed to 220. This is on a scale of, like it says here, 0 to 255. So you can set the effect speed. Great. And then, so another AND. Oops, I just messed it up because I moved it. Control Z work? Yeah, it does. So then another AND, meaning we're going to put another command in this macro, and that next command is NL, which is night light, active, and duration. So that will turn on the night light, and the duration is in minutes. All right. Let's see. Cooley Bell, we haven't done unicorns yet today. All right. So then the night light goes on for 2 minutes. So this macro right here, maybe. Yes, he is. We could give me a minute, Mark. Just a sec. So this macro says set the effect to number 74. Then set the speed to 220, and then turn on the nightlight timer for 2 minutes. So whenever I run this macro, that's what's going to happen. Now, to run that macro, I can do a couple things. I can either do it through UDP, which would be, to do that, you want to go HTTP. This is what threw me off here. This is how I got the wrong stuff. HTTP, and then the URL over here. So I'm going to put 192.168.122, then a slash, then win at, and then you can see which the macro number and M equals, and then whatever the macro number is. So number 1. And then that's it. You just hit return and it does it. So you can't see the lights, but the lights are now doing that thing. And I've then got, so that's pretty cool, right? So that's a macro to set a light to whatever you want. Here's what's even better about the macros, right? And I think how they're even more useful. When you can set them to do something based on the button press. And I'm saying this because I've set these up as night lights for the girls in their room. And I don't want to get my phone out every time. I don't want them to come to me and say, Dad, can you change my lights, to something else? I want them to be able to just push a button on the wall or wherever and cycle through or hit a different effect or do whatever. So since we have the ability to set that up in buttons, oops, it's down here already. You can set that up here. So what I've got now is my short button press. I've got it set to fire off macro number 3. Macro number 3 is this genius little macro that basically just says PL, which is, I think, play the next preset. Pretty sure is what it is. PL right here. PL applies entire preset. So it will apply that preset. So PL equals, you can go 26 of them, 0 through 25, even though there's only 16 buttons in there. You can go higher than that. But then you put the tilde here, right? The tilde, I guess that's what that's called, isn't it? Symbol. And then that will just cycle to the next effect. So if we go back to my LEDs for a minute, I wish my camera was not all screwed up right now. Maybe I need to change that exposure stuff. Let's see if we can play with it for a second. We can fix it. Figure video. Oh, sent this over on Discord. Awesome. I'll check it out. Turn off white balance. What if we let it do its thing with exposure and stuff? And turn it off. Maybe it's overexposed. Maybe we can darken it. Turn that focus. Okay, we'll just try that and see. Is that any better? Oh, wow, that's way better. That's awesome. Okay, now, after 2 minutes it went off. Okay, so, but the problem here was I do need this to actually turn it on. So I'm going to change this. I don't want to change that right now. It turned off, so now I have to turn it back on. Okay, so now it's back on. Now when I push this button, it will cycle through my presets. So that's a different preset. That's a different preset. I only think I have 3 or 4 in here, I think, right now. And then it'll turn it off. Okay, now it's back to number 1. So now it'll cycle through preset, cycle through preset, cycle through presets. Is that awesome? I think that's fantastic. Pinky LED, she did that in hers, and it was super, super, super useful for things like making a nightlight or for putting them inside your house. And then if you don't have a Node MCU, or if you don't want to press the button here, you can very easily make an external button that will do the same thing. Just go from GPIO 0, which on the Node MCU is D3. It's probably the same on the D1 Mini, right, guys? And then ground. And then this button here will do the same thing. There we go. There's my preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, preset 4. And then I think I've got the long hold to toggle it off. Maybe I don't. It's doing something. Anyways, let me see what I have it set to right now. Long press. Oh, I have it set to 0. I'm going to set long press to 4. And then I'm going to make macro 4 just, I think, what's T for toggle? It's just T. So this is going to be T equals 2. And T equals 2 is toggle. All right, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for subscribing. Okay, so we're going to save that. Go back here. Now my long press should toggle. Yep, there you go. Long press. Great. And then I can cycle through my presets by pressing the button once. Love it. I think that button function, that was hidden for me at first. I didn't know that was there. Oh man, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Do you think I like it? Yeah, I do. All right. Let's see. Dale was sending me some stuff. Hey, Dale, what do you got here? Holy cow. Here's the links Dale was trying to post in the live stream. Oh, you're that Dale. I didn't know you were that Dale. Well, of course I make you a mod. Okay, so here's a whole bunch of things that, okay, logic level shifter method, null sacrificial pixel method, explanation of why flickering and glitching happens, various solutions to fix it, best practices for powering neopixels. Nice. Okay, here it goes, everybody. Here it comes. Dale Higgs, that's you. Now I know, man. Well, now I'm not even gonna make your mod status temporary. I didn't know you were a big pixel man, Dale. That's awesome. Have you been, what do you use? Whoops. You're probably well into this before any wLED stuff really. Oh, that one's too long. Okay, we'll just take out a few. There it goes. Okay, sweet. Thank you, Dale. Oh, there's Pinky. Oh, she's got dials. You got, is that brightness dials? Did we talk about that? That was something I was thinking I was going to ask you, and that's awesome. And then this is a microphone. So this is what Pinky's working on. Running out of pins. ESP32. But that's cool. So you've got, is this like brightness and speed or something? So brightness and speed and a microphone. Can you add a microphone to activate wLED? Anything's possible built by Ross, but right now I don't think it's part of it. I think if you go to AirCookie's Discord, or certainly on his on the wiki, or sorry, the GitHub, I guess is it issues where you post it? Anyways, you can post a request. He's got a space where you can put requests. So he's working on it. I'm sure he's like the rest of us. He has a regular job and stuff, and I don't know how many other people are helping him. But I know you can put in a request, so that would be cool. I think a lot of people would like that. It'd be fun to have. One for brightness and one for speed. Perfect. Brightness, speed, and then a microphone. So this is Pinky LED, so she's doing that too. Good job. You got to work with AirCookie too, Pinky, and see. Just share some notes, and he can probably help you with some things. And you could probably, some of those things you're doing, like having those dials and stuff on there, that would be nice to add to wLED for sure too. Especially the microphone right now. A lot of people want that. Whatever happened to Will? I don't know Will. Grand Canyon together and fall off a cliff. Bruh, I don't know what happened to Bruh. He's gone again. First time I played with wLED, I had trouble connecting my 5 gigahertz network. It doesn't connect. Contacted AirCookie and he told me ESP. Yes, that's true, Carlo. Yep. Sorry you didn't know that, but yeah. ESP8266 is only going to connect to a 2.4 gigahertz network. Will from ESP Home. That's right. Odo Winter or Will? Is that Odo or Will? Is Odo? That's a different person. I don't remember which one's Will. Dale L and Dale H. Originally got into addressable LEDs back when I built multi-rotors and programmed 5-volt trinkets to listen to specific channels on the RX to control them. Wow. Odo's back. ESP Home was released new beta this week. Yes. Odo's a good dude. And what he did with ESP Home is so awesome. How could you call these effects in Home Assistant? Well, so I shared some stuff earlier, Vaclav. I shared some stuff earlier, and you should probably scroll back and see if you can find the links. But basically, if you go to my GitHub, it will tell you everything you need. Why does it always go to Sonoff instead of to me? I want it to go to me. Mine. Right here. Sniper Keen. My old Xbox, not Xbox One, but like Xbox original from Halo 1 gamer tag. What's Sniper Keen? There's this configuration.yaml and automations.yaml will give you what you need to add them manually through MQTT. So that'll give you what you need, my friend. Give you what you need. 3 Dales. My name's also Dale. Oh, man. Too many Dales. You can't have too many Dales. Is there a reason my stream is 720? No, it should not be 720. Anybody else having that? I don't have any statistics that are telling me that it's messed up. I could look at the restream and see. Like WebCore. I don't know what WebCore is, Michael. Tell me what WebCore is, and we can probably give you some direction, tell you if it'll work or not. Yeah, it's 720. What the? Let's see if we can fix that. Hard to read the text. What the heck? I wonder why. It could be. It could be that I got a notice today from Comcast that we've gone over our limit again for data in the house. So maybe they're limiting me. Maybe I'm being throttled by my internet service provider. That's very possible. Let's play this one again for 5IY. 5IY? I like this one. This one's new. Is that too loud? Maybe I need to adjust the volume on that one. I like that one. I just made it. It's new. It's new. It's fun. Oops. Yeah, some extra $50 for unlimited. They won't give me unlimited. Maybe it's a regional thing. I'll have to look again. In order to get regional, you had to be like a business, or to get unlimited, you had to be like a business. I thought we were unlimited. Yeah, you're not. Oh, Emmy's here. Hey, Emmy, how's it going? Happy to see you. Yeah, maybe I should go to Comcast Business. I might as well. I certainly run a business, depending on the internet here with DrZzs. Maybe I should do that. You're right. You guys, okay, I'm going to call. When the stream's over, I'm going to call Comcast. I was also going to look at Restream, though, and just make sure that Restream wasn't messing with it, giving me any issues. Analytics, I don't know. I don't know where I would see that. It would probably not be in here. Probably be in. Dun, 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 dun. It doesn't give me. Restream stopped giving me data on YouTube. I don't know why. Well, I'm really sorry about the resolution. That's a bummer. Who ditched unlimited? Oh, did Comcast ditch unlimited, or did somebody else? Uverse. 1 gig on Uverse. Oh. Got a pair of Yamaha HS8 today. What is that, Assad? What is that? What is cycle mode, and how do you figure it out? How do you configure presets? Uday, did I plant you? Did I plant you in there like as a what do? You plant somebody in the audience that asks the right questions. I was gonna look at the stream settings though. I don't know why. Why would there be I don't know why there would be a problem. Oh. Output, look at that. Output scaled resolution. Looks like it's messed up. AirCookie added this to an issue post in the Git. Seems to fix some bugs and adds a Halloween eyes effect. It's like the 8.5.x release. Check it out. Okay, cool. This was from Jim. Sorry, I don't understand. I didn't ask you anything. How do I share this? Jim, can we post this? Can you post the link to that in the chat here? Copy link. I don't think that'll work. I want to just post a file. Can I do that? Oh, don't think so. I'll have to check it out after. I know Air Cookie's getting ready to do a I know he's getting ready to do an 8.6, 0.8.6 soon, very soon. Broadband in the USA sucks. In South Korea, they have 5 gigabyte was the average connection. Good grief. Your Node-RED config is actually just Home Assistant YAML. So yeah, some of that stuff is stuff that Mark's been working on for us, and a lot of it is for Node-RED, and some of it is stuff that you need to put in your YAML that works with what he wrote for Node-RED. So Mark M's not here right now, but a lot of what he's done here, and he did some explaining of what you have to do with it, but a lot of these things are, yeah, they're for Node-RED, and then he's got some YAML that you need in Home Assistant to work with the Node-RED stuff that he put in there. But it looks like, back to my resolution for a minute, it looks like my output has been scaled for some reason. And I don't know, I probably can't change that during the stream. So here's the question. Is the resolution enough of a problem that I should stop the stream, fix this for some reason, and then start it back up? Andre, hey, how you doing, man? Long time you've not been able to watch. I'm glad you're here. The flow references the config. There you go, Nicholas. You got it. Definitely no. Okay, no, not a problem. Okay, all right. I will fix this after. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why it changed. So we are back to the settings because somebody asked some good questions, and they were questions about cycle mode. Let's look at cycle mode. Okay, so cycle mode. Well, let's look at presets first because cycle mode uses the presets. So you want to make presets. So you want to make a preset, do you? Let's look at my board here. We're going to turn it on with a long press of the button. Now we're going to play around. We're going to do, let's find something fun like rainbow. And we're going to make the speed, oh, the speed's already pretty fast. It's kind of a nice rainbow. I don't think intensity, does intensity do anything with rainbow? I can't remember. Anyway, so rainbow's a nice one. I want rainbow to be one of my default effects. So I'm going to set, so once I've got my LEDs doing what I want them to do, you turn on this edit preset here, and then you click the button of the preset that you want. Oops, this is in the way. It doesn't need to be that big. There you go. So you turn on the preset button. Okay, that means it's ready to record, basically, a preset. So now you click the number that you want, and that preset is now recorded. Make sure you turn this back off so you don't override that. So now my preset number 1 is Colorwinkle. Preset number 2 is this. Preset number 3 is that. Preset number 4 is that. And now preset number 5 is the rainbow. All right? Now, cycle range, what does that do? So cycle range goes from 1 to 16. And basically what you're saying is you've got a bunch of presets here. And let's say that this is the example I use in the video that I haven't put out yet. But let's say we want to just do presets 2, 3, and 4. Because my preset, this preset is kind of unique. Preset 1 is kind of unique. But 2, 3, and 4, they both use my maize and blue sports team colors. So if I want to cycle through those 3 presets, then I set this to 2 through 4. And I think by default, it probably is going to show the color and the effect, or it's going to cycle through the color and the effect. But if you wanted to just do color or just do effect, you could cycle just color or just effect. I'm going to just make sure it hits both. And then you turn, oh, sorry, not done. Preset duration. So then how long do we want it to last? Well, let's put it low, like we'll put it on 2 minutes. And then the color transition, will make the color transition like instant. But if you wanted to, you could make each effect last for 38 minutes or 49 minutes. So it goes from 0 or 1 to an hour and 5. So you can go each one to an hour. I don't know. There might be a way to change this to to something more than a slider, more than what this slider will give you. I'm not 100% sure. There's probably a command we can look at in the commands for a macro or something where you could change it. But for now, with the slider, it goes from like 1 or 0, which is kind of silly, to 105. So let's make the preset something we can see in effect quickly on. So we'll make it like 1 minute there, 1 minute. And then once you've got, so you've got your cycle range selected, and that's the range is talking about which presets you want it to use. So 2 through 4, so 2, 3, and 4 are going to be in my cycle range. I've got both of them, color and effect, that are going to cycle. I've got my duration of each preset to be only 1 minute, and then the color duration is just instant. I think if you did it longer, I think it would fade maybe. I'm not 100% sure. And then you turn on cycle mode. So there's 1. Oh, no, that's not minutes. Is that seconds? That's seconds. I thought that was minutes. Yeah, it's only seconds. Well, there you go. That's what cycle mode does. I really thought that was minutes. I thought, oh, it wouldn't make any sense. Psycho mode. Wait, what? Is it Sunday? Hey, Val. No, wait. So I missed Sunday. I missed Sunday stream. I had to work Friday night or Saturday night, and I didn't sleep. And I came home at like 8 in the morning, and I was awake in time. I could have streamed, but I was like, it would have been just. So check Facebook group after the stream. Will do, built by Ross. Thank you, my friend. It's too late in the UK. It's okay, Mark. We'll be back on Sunday, normal time. If you're using Nose Red, I could share my dimming flow with you. Oh, awesome. Yeah, seconds. So how about that? We'll ask Air Cookie on Sunday, if I don't chat with him at all before then, if there's a way to make that longer. But anyways, that's what it does. So somebody asked about presets and about cycle mode. There you have it. Presets and cycle mode. You like it? I do. Oh, let's turn it off with a long press. I love this. What are we playing with today, Val? We are all about the wLEDs, my friend. All wLEDs. Probably for a month, we're going to be doing wLED stuff, at least. WebCore is like Home Assistant that works with smart things. Gotcha. Okay. I don't know much about it. I wish I could tell you anything about it. I don't know. Took a nap on Thursday. Didn't wake up until Sunday. Hey, Tom. How are you, man? All right. I got a bunch of Discord messages here. Oh, not going to show that, Frank. Not going to show it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That's very cool. That's very cool, Celerone. Very cool. Show it? Oh, okay. Frank's got something to share. This is a screenshot. What do you see here? Discovered devices, as in his integration stuff, right? Oh, it's discovering LED, wLED. What? What is this? Please be aware, this is proof of concept. So Frank's building an integration for wLED. There it is. That's what I asked him if I could share earlier. How cool is that? So basically it'll work like ESP Home, right? I don't know how exactly the insides, of course, will work, but you have a new wLED board on the network. Once it's connected to your network, I guess you'll have to, I don't know how, Frank, however you have to do it to connect it to Home Assistant. There'll probably be something. And then, boom, it'll all just pop in. Just like that. Gimme. That's awesome. Frank, you're a star. Thank you so much. Proof of concept. Temper your expectations. Give the man some time to work it out. But I wish I could program like Frank. Don't we all? Don't we all? No, I'm happy to let Frank do it. I'll work on other things. And just enjoy his awesomeness later. Thanks, Frank. That's pretty cool. That's exciting stuff. They are such a Such a good fit. Home Assistant and wLED. Such a good fit. I am so glad. I think about it a lot lately as I have just been enjoying wLED so much and really getting excited about putting up LEDs again. And it was just a random one night, Saturday night, I was going to sleep and I was thinking, okay, what am I going to stream about tomorrow? You know, I could do, and now at this point, I can't even remember what else I was thinking about, what I might have done, but I was thinking, oh, what am I going to stream about tomorrow? And then I remember somebody said something about wLED, check out wLED. Maybe I can look at that and see, that might be something we could talk about. And I think it was Eric, E-Town, that said, check it out. And so that next morning, I checked it out and I was like, holy cool, we got to talk about this. And it's just been gangbusters from there. Wise integration. Is there, you know what? I haven't played with the Wise integration. I probably should. Well, there really was one. I haven't done anything else for a while. I posted it here again, but you don't see it again, I guess. Probably blocked URLs. Silent, prickable. Oh, Kyle, thank you for giving him the tip there. Robert Bake. You're welcome. You are so welcome. Couldn't make wLED work with logic converter and 12-volt LED strip. Logic converter. Don't know. You need a step down. Is that what you mean by logic converter? You need a step down to run the Node MCU on 5 volts? Yeah, buck converter. Okay. Common grounds. Yeah. Thanks for your work, Frank. You betcha. You betcha. Let's take a quick peek at my list again. How long have we been at this? Not that I want to stop, but how long have we been at this? I'm not going to do 3 hours again today. No. I got to fix my bug. I got to get that bug working. Lots of work on the bug. So what do you got here, Celerone? You got a bunch of... Oh, is this all power monitoring? Yeah. Energy usage all over the house. Holy cow, dude. What are you doing that with? Wow. And you've got it adding up how much energy it costs. Good job, dude. Nice. Daily and monthly energy cost in each room of the house. I love it. Oh my gosh. Mrs. Z's would not be happy if I tried to do this. Oh, she would. May take like 2 weeks. Been through it for 2 days now. Don't worry. Take your time, Frank. Take your time. We got all the time in the world. We got all the time in the world. This is good, man. This is good. This is a smart way to do it. I like it. And proof of concept so it can all go south. That's right. We've learned that through sad experience. Time or two. This will be great. Oh, look, it's working. And then somewhere along the way, you hit a bump and you realize, no, it doesn't work. But hey, great. Just you can do that. Just get a separate power supply, 5-volt power supply or 3-volt power supply, and then, oops, sorry, hit the microphone. But then just share the grounds between the two. Right? Right. Murphy's Law, yeah. Okay. Oh, Alex, you're back from the chiropractor? It'll either work or it'll explode. I haven't said that in a while. How did you create the different colors for the effects on your 2 to 4 presets? Oh, let's do that. We kind of covered that at the beginning, Matt, but that's no problem. We can do that again. All right, so let's turn on the lights again. Turn them on. Whoop. So you've got 2 colors. Right now, I believe my blue is the preset, the primary color, and the yellow is the secondary color. Not 100% sure. When you change things on this dial here, it will change the primary color. Yeah, so now it's red. And now it's green. Let's do a different effect that's not going to be quite so hard to see. That's better. All right. So I'm going to change the primary color to red. So now you see red and yellow. So here's where you change the primary color. You can use these buttons too. Change the primary color. No big deal, right? Primary color, that's pretty straightforward. Everybody knows primary color probably. This is the tricky part. hold on to your hats. If you click this little button up here to secondary color, now you'll be affecting the secondary color. Oh, it looks like it's running through my presets again. Through the cycle. Oh, I left cycle mode on. Turn cycle mode off or it'll keep going. Yeah. So with this button turned over here, it will change the secondary color. With the button over here, it changes the primary color. If in some cases you don't want a secondary color, you turned on a secondary color, but you decide later, oh, this effect doesn't look good with a background color, you turn this secondary color slider over here and then slide this all the way down. And now it'll just be the primary color. If you change this with the slider down, your primary or your secondary color won't come back. You got to turn the slider up to get your secondary color to come back. And it won't, make sure if you're changing it and it's not working, try this slider. Maybe you left it at secondary color and you change it back to primary color. Oh, now it turned off. Must be on a timer. What happened? Oh, it's because I set my primary color. Look at that. I messed it up. I put primary color, but my brightness slider is all the way down. Dummy. There you go. Okay. So primary color, secondary color. Got it? And then brightness to turn it on or off. You can use these preset buttons. And you can use the preset buttons for secondary color also. If you set it secondary, you can use the presets for that too. If you want. Preset colors down here. These colors are standard. These colors, you can't change these colors. These are things that just AirCookie built in. And then each time when you get something going like this is pink and blue, that's kind of pretty. Maybe I want to do a new preset with those colors. I just turn on the Save Presets button, and then I hit the next preset in line, and then turn off the Save Preset button, or else so you don't override it later on accident. And there's number 4, and there's rainbow number 5, and then this is the pink and blue. Pretty cool, eh? What functions do the buttons have at the top? Okay, we can go through them real quick. So basically, this is on-off. This is settings. This is the sleep timer. So if you click this button, it will start a timer. When the timer ends, the LEDs will turn off. By default, it's set to 60 minutes. If you want to change it, you go in here, LED preferences, and down here where it says time to light, you change that to something else. If you don't want it to be 60 minutes, you want it to be more or less, you change it there. All right. And then the effect, this second FX color, that was when I was just talking about, switches between primary color and secondary color. I think that's probably what, maybe we'll talk to AirCookie. Maybe we change that to say primary over here and secondary over here so that you just know, when it's that way, you're adjusting the primary. When it's that way, you're adjusting the secondary. That would probably help. And then sync lights, this is if this is turned on, then any changes I make here will be broadcast out to all my LEDs. All your LEDs are on the same UDP port. I'll explain that in the video a little more too, but if you go in here and change this number, any wLED boards that share the same UDP port number will be affected by that sync. If they have different UDP port numbers, then they will be on sort of different sync subgroups. By default, they're all on the same one unless you change it. So if you turn this to sync to on, then any changes I make here is going to go out to all my wLED boards. Turn it off to make that not happen. Got it? It would look good as presets for Ruby and Porpoise, the new OSU colors. Ruby and Porpoise. Is that the new OSU? Oh, Ruby and Porpoise? Wait a minute. I know it's fun to make fun of OSU, but what's Ruby and Porpoise? Red and Porpoise is gray. Is that what we're going to call their colors now? I like that. Ruby and Porpoise. Yeah, this looks like Ruby and Porpoise. Pink and blue. Oh, man, I hope we beat those guys this year. Anybody out there from Ohio? We've got to beat you guys this year. It's the only thing that's going to make me feel better. All right. That's not true. I'll feel better anyways. Screenshots for the electricity in the house is the Lovelace channel on DrZzs Discord server. If someone need the code. Thank you. Thank you, Andre. That's awesome. If you want all the wLEDs to have the same effect, do you set the same MQTT name or use sync? Either one, Stephen. Either one. If you set the sync, then the easy way to do it if you're using the app primarily is to set the sync. If you're if you're using Home Assistant to control the lights, or for Home Assistant control in the lights, then use the MQTT topic, the MQTT group topic in here. That's what I'm doing. Ow, I think something bit me in the leg. Ow, I got a bug. That hurts. Right here. Okay. So you can set your wLED, or sorry, your MQTT group topic to something for specific boards, and then there'll be, yeah, there's an all subtopic. Yep, right here, group topic. So if you want to change that, if you change that, that won't affect what the sync does. Sync is a different, what do you want to call it? A communication protocol. It's not MQTT, it's UDP. And so it won't affect what MQTT does. And MQTT won't affect what the sync button does. So it's another way to do it. And it's nice because you can do it on the phone. You can do it, but people who don't have Home Assistant can do it. That's why I like it. I think that's really good. Matheson, yeah, you want to do home power monitor? Yeah, I have it. I've got my, you know, when Travis was doing those boards a month or two ago, and he was talking about those on his streams and videos, I've got one of those set up, and I've got 6 or 8 or however many, I guess it's 6 channels. I've got everything. I just haven't put it in. I've been working on this. Look for it after the stream. Okay. There's a limit to the number of LEDs one node machine control. I hear that a lot. I should probably put that in the video too. I do not believe there is a hard, fast rule about how many LEDs one node MCU or one 8266 can control. I've heard people say a soft limit of like 2,000. Let's see. Oops. How many LEDs can a node MCU control? Here's a number on a question on the fast LED. See if there's a number here. So we had somebody on earlier that said, I can't remember who it was now, but they said that they're running 1,600 LEDs on one node MCU without a problem. So I think for practical purposes, for most of us, for all practical purposes, yeah, it was Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. You could basically say there's no limit. I mean, if somebody finds the limit, let me know. As far as I know, nobody has, that at least not very publicly broadcast that they have discovered that there's a limit. So I've heard people say 2,000, but I don't know if that's true. 500 is no problem at all. No problem. Yep. I think you'll get into way more trouble with voltage drop and with, jumping connections to places than you will with running out of, the capacity of the node MCU to calculate and send out the right data. I think you'll run into other problems first. But I don't know. Memory, it depends on the memory on the board. There you go. So you'd probably be more limited if you're running on something like an ESP1 that only has like 1 megabyte versus this. Can I put wLED on the Sonoff LED string? Good question. Probably. I would expect you can. I don't have one, so I can't tell you. If it's based on the 8266 and if the LEDs are connected to D4, then yes. That's my simple answer without actually seeing the Sonoff light string. But I would bet you could. Let's start up. Let's see. Oh, 2 things. First, let's look again at. Let's look again. Let's do this first. Let's do this for my. I know I already did it once, but let's do the sponsor thing again. This is my reminder. My reminder that PCBWay has been gracious enough to agree to sponsor live streams as well. And I actually decided maybe I would put this in here. Big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. A lot of my favorite projects use custom PCBs, like the BH-Onofre, all of the Quinn LED boards, and the HA switch plate. Ordering from PCBWay is pretty easy, and they're always running some kind of special, so you can be pretty sure that you're getting a good deal. They deliver fast, but most importantly, it's good quality stuff. So if you've got a project that needs custom PCBs, check out PCBWay. That guy knows what he's talking about. All right. Let's look at my list that I made of things that I wanted to cover for wLED. And if we've covered them all, then we'll open up the giveaway and we'll start winding down. Sold. Oh, exclamation point D, Carlo. Exclamation point D will give you the it will give you access to the whole Discord. And then the channels are just on the left-hand side. Oh, that reminds me. I did want to show you. For what it's worth, for those of you who would want an example rather than figuring it out on your own. Those, and I haven't put this yet in the GitHub, so I should probably do that. But here is my Lovelace for the wLED controls. The wLED controls that we talked about here, these things that I made I modified some things other people made and fit it to the way I wanted it to work. So configuration, and automations. These things, once you get those into your Home Assistant, if that's what you're doing, then you can make a Lovelace nice little card here pretty easily. So I've got it's one card, and it's a custom card, of course. Or I guess, what do you call it? A blank card or something, a manual card. And it looks like this. So I'm just going to copy all this out of here. But that's it. It's a vertical stack and a horizontal stack. And it's got inputs for the, this is a custom card. That's right. This is a custom light entity card. So you need to load that light entity card through the Home Assistant community store, and then put the correct line in your resources in the raw config of your Lovelace. And then the entities, the LED speed, intensity, and brightness, and then entities for the input select palette and input select preset LED. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go here, and we're going to actually add create a new file. Lovelace manual Okay. Commit. Great. So that's there now too, if you want to use it. If you put a manual card, just make sure you do have this this custom light entity card as well. You can find it in the Home Assistant community store. And then you do have to add in your resources here, raw config editor, and your resources, you'll need this. But it tells you what to do if you go to the community store, right? You guys, hopefully everybody's a little familiar with that. Community store, and then you can look in the store, you can look for light, and there will be where is it? Plugins, light entity card, right there, this one. Okay. And this will tell you, and this, what's nice about that, the reason that I used that is because if you just did a light card, there's a light card that's default built in to Home Assistant, but it didn't do what I wanted to do, which was when you turn it on, this is going to turn on all my LEDs, but that's okay. When you turn it on, this one brings up the brightness slider and the effects list, which is all the effects from wLED, and then the color wheel as well. So I think this LED or this lights card is really good. And I like that it pops up and does the color wheel and stuff when you click it on. And then you got the speed, intensity, brightness, and the palettes and the presets. Cool. Do I ever use Home Assistant package to group all elements of a project together? Super useful for sharing projects. That'd be a great idea, Stefan, if I was at all organized in my Home Assistant configuration. Just for fun. Just for fun. Frank, are you still here? Every once in a while. I love Frank. He's my brother from another mother and another country. here's my configurator and Ator, but I just want to show everybody, especially Frank. No, Frank's not here. Or no, DrZzs does not use packets. That's what he's saying. Here's my automations.yaml. This one's probably not as big. Oh, no, it is. Look at that. 2,500 lines pretty much in my automations.yaml. How's that 3D printer coming, Frank? You got that 3D printer yet, my friend? And then here in my configuration.yaml is longer. 2,700 lines. Someday I will organize things, but it is not this day. This is not the day for that. Ah, that's fun times. Oh, you know what? Another thing. Let's talk about this real quick because this came up from some questions as well. LED preferences. This is simple, but it gets overlooked easily, and I've had to adjust it multiple times. RGB color order. How's the new panel item? It's beautiful. You see it? My configurator and Ator. It's beautiful. I love it. It's custom. It's all for me. Okay, if you turn on your LEDs with wLED and you see they're not the colors you think they should be, then you probably need to adjust your RGB color order. It can be RGB, it can be BRG, or it can be RBG. BRG, RGB, BGR, blah, 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 blah. Answering a text. This happens a lot, and different manufacturers. I used to think that it was, the leaf is plugged in. Off the subject. Nothing's off the subject. Let me try and half finish before I get too distracted myself. For some reason, I thought it was WS2811s are RGB and 2812s are BRG or something like that, but I think it's kind of manufacturer dependent. I don't know 100%, but I definitely know that a lot of times this is just wrong. You plug in your LEDs and the blues or greens or whatever. The best way to know when you first turn on wLED, I've changed my defaults now, unfortunately, so you can't really tell anymore. But when you first turn on a strip of lights connected to wLED, they will be kind of a yellow. And if you go in here, that's because it's using this default color right here. So it's using, a bunch of red and half the green or something like that. And so that comes out yellow. So when they first come on, if they're not yellow, if they're green or some other purple or pink or something like that, then you probably need to change this. If you don't change this, then all your palettes and all that effects stuff that's got preset colors is going to look wrong. But you can change what shows up as the default. I like this top one, set current color brightness and effects as boot on default. So I think what that means is whatever your current, maybe it's whatever it is right now. I don't know. Let's test it, I suppose. I think if, I think what I would like it to be is whatever it was when it turned off. When it is still, it saves what it is if you just turn it off and turn it on, toggle it off, turn it on. But if it reboots the whole board, then it will do something different. Maybe this is a good one to do. If you just want it to set preset number 1, then do that. And when you reboot the board, it will start up in a certain preset. Okay? Or you can change the default colors and all this other stuff here. Sorry, I'm getting pinged like crazy here in Discord. Okay. Is there a way in wLED to use multiple devices to interact, but not just sync, like run an effect through one string, then the next, then the next? Or also sound sensitive, maybe a cell phone app. So TRCC, I think what you want to do, what it sounds like you want to do is Xlights. Yep, Paul is telling you. What you want to do is Xlights. Xlights, you can look it up too, but, oops. No, Xlight. No, there was a difference. Light sequencer and show selector. So this is it's free, but this is complicated stuff to me. Paul's probably been doing it for a while. I'm sure there's other guys here that have been doing it for a while. I know Hookup Rob runs these and does stuff with his LEDs with this. But this is how you make those really crazy fancy shows with music and lights doing different things in different places. The great thing, another on the long list of things that are fantastic about wLED is that wLED works with Xlights. So if you install a bunch of wLED controllers around your house, and right now you're happy just doing some colors and flashing and effects and changing like we've been talking about, some I think it's pretty cool stuff. It's above basic probably, maybe it's intermediate. This would be advanced. wLED can work with Xlights because it supports E1.31. And so when you get this in, when you get Xlights downloaded, you're going to have to watch some videos, read a lot of stuff. It's not super easy. I'm sure everybody here is capable of figuring it out and making it work. I'm still kind of learning, and I haven't always gotten the results that I wanted, but I honestly haven't spent a ton of time on it. I probably spent a grand total of 4 or 5 hours maybe is all playing with it. And breaking that up over several months. Like I'll play with it for an hour or two, and then I won't do it for 6 months, and then I'll try it again. So I understand a few things, but I don't understand it well enough. And then, but when you do set up, your Xlights shows, you can bring in your wLED controllers and the lights that are attached to them because of this E1.31 protocol, and you can use your wLED lights as an Xlights show. It's amazing. It's awesome. Free sequences at Sequence Armory. Yep. Yeah. And so that's true. You don't have to. So then what I need to do, we'll do it again. We did a stream last year where, the best way for me to do it is to get somebody like Paul or somebody who knows what they're doing with Xlights and my setup and do it. It'll be more effective this year because now I've actually got wLED controllers on all my lights. So I will actually be able to use this. Last time we tried doing it, I had like one little string of pixels and it was running Pixel Stick. And so I didn't have it on the whole house. And so I couldn't draw the whole house and really actually make a show. But this year we can. Another 12 streams of Christmas. Absolutely. We are doing the 12 streams of Christmas. That was a lot of fun. We'll do it again. Have to check it out. Don't know if it's because I started with Vixen. Seemed to get lost in Xlights. Curtis, maybe. I felt like Vixen was easier also. I did when I tried them both. But I think a lot of people use Xlights, and so I think that's what I'll go with. What's better in wLED than McLighting that you think is worth its change? Boy, guys, list all the things. Oh, you know what I've got here? I've got something that can tell you that. I made a chart. Let me move my Google Docs over here just in case. Sorry. So I made a comparison chart. Here it is. So this is what, and Pinky has added some things because she now has some physical dials she's working on. Plus, thank you, plus sound response. But McLighting is the most like wLED. All right, Steve McCarthy, thanks for subscribing. We're going to do the airplane because I like the song. Yeah, Xlights does deserve a good look. There is a lot of people out there supporting Xlights, using Xlights, and helping people to use Xlights. So that's what I would go with. So here's my comparison. Precompiled binary from McLighting, at least when I looked at it last, they didn't have one. So that's no big deal if you're used to compiling your own Arduino stuff and uploading it. No big deal. Late as usual, Gordon. That's okay. We'll start over. So it doesn't do that. Access point mode, I guess I wasn't sure if it did. Listed as on the future development goals. So for access point mode for McLighting, which is part of what you have to have in order to do a precompiled binary as well. So it didn't have that. Fine. It's got the same effects. Standalone phone app. So the phone app for wLED is really good. So I guess that's one thing that wLED has that the McLighting doesn't have. All these other things like customizable effects, E1.31 even is part of McLighting. Those are all great. The other things I said was physical button control. So like I've been showing you with, you can push GPIO0 on the Node MCU with the flash button, or you can put an external button and you can set presets and macros and stuff to happen when you press the button. That's pretty cool. Like even just toggling it on and off, just pushing a button to turn it on and off. It's kind of nice. And then She Who Shall Not Be Named auto discovery, which has been hit or miss for me with wLED, but it's there and it should work. And it's probably my fault more than anything else that I've named them in a way that she would understand or whatever. But she will discover them, and you can turn them on and off through that discovery mechanism. And then if you back in this, if you go back to this, what we've got here in the Home Assistant, my repository where Mark's been adding a lot of stuff. One of the really awesome things that he did with this Node MCU flow right here is he basically set up so that each preset is a separate light entity for She Who Shall Not Be Named. And so that means she'll discover them all separately. And then you can say, turn on Christmas lights, and it will play that effect. It'll play that preset. It'll turn on a light and set it to that preset. You can say, turn on Halloween lights, and she'll turn on your same LEDs, but they'll be playing your Halloween preset instead of just turning on or off. By default, all she can do through wLED is turn on or off. But if you mix in Mark's stinking awesome Node Red flow here, you'll be able to control them with your voice and specific effects. And these things are both, when I looked at this a month or so ago, he had listed all these things on his things to bring up in the future. So if none of those things are that important to you, McLighting's great. Go with it. And it's definitely, if you look at this comparison of the things that I've used, things that seem to be common. I didn't bother with ES-Pixel Stick because I think all ES-Pixel Stick really does is just make it an E1.31 controller. But of all these things that I've used, wLED and McLighting are certainly neck and neck. Okay. Oh, and Pinky does have, oh, I need to change it. She does have Home Assistant Auto Discovery now. Of course she does. You'll have to looking at my comparison here, Jenny, send me what I need to change. Because obviously I need to change this. I need to add like manual controls. Well, I guess we can say button control, but you get extra points for sound control, for responding to sound. That's pretty awesome. I want to create some cool Christmas routines for the trees lights next year. Yeah, do it. Do it. It's a good one. Oh, to all Unify users, turn off DHCP snooping if you're having DHCP timeout issues. There you go. Is ESP Home worth adding to your comparison? I would put ESP Home probably in here with Tasmota. Maybe I should add it. I should look at it and see what things it can do and can't do. Because you would, well, it'll fall right off at the beginning with the precompiled binary thing. This was really important when I was, doing that video from a week ago where it was very beginner oriented. Like really, I wanted my sister to be able to do it. That was my focus. When I made that video, I was like, okay, I need to talk to her about, oh, we need to hook up the hookup version on here. We need to put the hookup version on here. Hey, Rob. I made this comparison. Maybe what I should do is make this public. It's just a Google Doc. I could make it public and then have everybody contribute their opinions and ideas and stuff to it. Let's find it. Where did I put it? Oh, that's not it. Because Rob's got a sketch that's become quite impressive as well. Is it this one? It's untitled. No. Okay, I'll have to find it. I don't know. It's not popping up. Here it is. Here it is. Ah. wLED comparisons. Okay. All right, we're gonna make this shareable, or at least for I'll do let's see, shareable link. Copy link. So I'll send this to, I don't know if we should make this totally crazy open to the universe, but I will send it to Pinky. You can add your stuff in there, and I will send it to Rob. So you can add your stuff in there, Rob. Okay, there you go. All right, fill that out for us. Make it right. Make it accurate. Tweaked the fire effect a few weeks ago, and it's looking fire. It's on fire. Christmas tree lights. Think I need to order some stuff. You sure do, Bill by Ross. You sure do. You sure do. Where was I? We talked about E1.31, timeout, LED. We talked about, so this is where you change what you want her to use to turn the thing on and off as just general toggle on and off. Although you can actually have her do something other than just turn them on or off. And this is how. You can do it with this, without Node Red. If you go here to time and macros, down at the bottom says Bertha on-off macros. So when you tell her to turn something on, it will play macro number 1, which for me is this now, because I've changed it. And when you tell her to turn something off, it will play whatever macro you have in here. So if I wanted it to toggle, I could go here and just say do macro number 4. And then if I want, well, that's probably not the thing to do. Let's probably put it here. Turn them off, it'll toggle it. For this one, I can say, I don't know, whatever. You can set here whatever macro you want. So then when you tell her turn on whatever the name of your lights are, instead of just toggling it on or off, she can run a macro, or she can, wLED will take her command to turn on or off and will run a macro instead. Is that clear? Big sequence holiday LED video, which means I had a lot to put up the mega tree. Oh yeah. You put up the mega tree on 10/23. Oh. Wait, was that a special day? Or you just finally put the mega tree up? I'm excited. When is your video coming out? Next week? I got to see this mega tree. I don't have Unify. Assad, nope, I don't have Unify. In fact, I just doubled down on my Google Wi-Fi routers. I just got 3 more pucks from eBay used. Is there a way to switch on a power supply by a digital pin? Not with wLED right now. I don't think so. Nope. But maybe someday. There is with ESP Home. All right, let's start this. Let's fire this up. We're firing up the giveaway. I know Rob just got here. Darn it. Some of you guys just got here. I'm starting to get tired. We've been at it for a few hours, and kids are coming home, so I want to be ready for them. Let's fire up the giveaway. Bum, 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 ba-na-na. I'm going to have to use that song in other things now, too. Oh, so close. So close. So close. Frank's working on it right now. Oh, is today Thursday? Oh, okay, Thursday, yeah. Okay, never mind. Edit request sent. Awesome. I'll approve it. Looks like you're in there editing it now. Anonymous Hedgehog. Somebody is. Bum, 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 bum. Ba-da, ba-da. Got to pick up your daughter anyway. Talk to you later, guys. See ya. See ya, Rob. Have a good one. Thanks for being here. Create a new one. Stickers. 10/24 today? Oh, yes. Talk about power. Yes. Yes. Let's talk about power. Yeah. Let's talk about it, Matt. Let's do. That'll be our last thing we talk about as we start this create new giveaway. Oh. Don't hit enter yet. Don't hit enter yet. Don't hit enter yet. Sorry. I didn't start it. I thought I did, but I didn't. What's going on? Dang it, why is it not? I'm not hitting the right button down here. Okay, save. Sorry, too distracted.
Huh?
Now there's a giveaway. Now you can hit enter. Now the chat's going to get completely lost. So let's talk about that. So Matt wants to talk about power, and I did too. And I actually was going to do some current testing today, but anyways, it's too late now. So we'll have to do that. Maybe we'll do that on Sunday some. We'll actually sit down and do some current testing. I would first refer you to Rob's video about all the different kinds of LED strips, because he did a really good job of actually measuring and seeing what power usage you're getting from some of these LEDs. I think, and I'm probably a bad person to ask, but I think we typically will overestimate and overblow what we think these LEDs are gonna require for power. However, they do require quite a bit of power, and it does need to be under consideration, right? So Matt says, let me read what you say first. Fusing the LEDs is something we haven't talked about with setting the LEDs up in mass quantities. I don't think anyone on YouTube that I've watched has ever talked about it. You know what? I wonder, Matt, just today, Quindor posted a video. We should all go watch after this, where he had a really cool name for it. What did he say? Like winning the wLED battle, powering the wLED battle or something. He had a cool name for it. But anyways, if you look at Quindor's boards, Quindor builds in a fuse. He does put a fuse on there so that you won't overcurrent, whatever you set your fuse to. You can put a 5 amp current or 5 amp fuse or a whatever, 10, 20, whatever you want, based on your wiring and stuff. You can put a fuse in there, and he uses those nice fuses like you use in the car. They're easy to get, they're cheap, and that's what he uses in this Quindor Uno digital boards, control boards. There is something that we can talk about in wLED, and this is really cool. Very smart the way that they came up with this. If you go to LED preferences, when you put your LED count in here, it will give you an estimated current. Oops. ESP with 5 volt. Yes. So if I change this to say 50 LEDs, it's going to say, oh, you should have a 3 amp power supply. If I change it to 500 LEDs, it's going to say you should have a 28 amp power supply. So it gives you an estimate. But now if you've got, here's the other thing to think about, right? So that means your power supply will be able to provide that much current. But will your wires become fuses? Right? That's what we're talking about. Are our wires going to just go zap, right? Poof, melt. I want to do some tests. I would love, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to hook up a bunch of LEDs, and I am going to try and melt the wires with the LEDs. I've got enough, I've got 60 amp power supply here. I can hook up a bunch of LEDs, and we can just try and melt the wires. One thing that wLED does, which is really genius, really smart, it's basically a software fuse. Read what this says here. Automatically limits the brightness to stay close to the limit. So you set a maximum current limit here based on whatever you want to base it on. You want to base it on your power supply. You want to say, well, I don't want my power supply to get too hot. Maybe it's only a 1 amp power supply or a 2 amp power supply. I know my wires can handle it, but can my power supply handle it? So if you want, you can set this based on your power supply. Or say you're in a situation like this where you've got a 60 amp power supply. Power supply is going to give current for days, no problems. But at some point, your 22 gauge or your 18 gauge wires are going to get too hot and they're going to go poof.
The salt in the water softener is low. Please get some salt and refill it as soon as possible.
That's for Jackson. What this does, what this current limit does, is it allows you to say, I only want to allow whatever you want to say, 15 amps, based on what size wire you're using. I only want to allow 15 amps of current. What this will do then, if you set this to 15 amps, it won't directly measure the current, but it will do a calculation and say, based on this number of LEDs, I should only allow this level of brightness to stay under this calculated maximum current output. Do you follow all that? It's really neat. It's really smart, and it's a software fuse. I think it's genius. Looks like you missed the stream. Sorry, remodel. Yeah, but they're always back there on recorded. I recommend 2 times speed until we get to a topic that you're interested in. So what do you think of that? What do you guys think of that? So Matt, was it Matt was asking about that? Right? Yeah, Matt Overman. So what do you think about that, Matt? If you're using Quindor's boards, then it's great. You can put a fuse in there and you're going to be in good shape. Another thing to think about with this is no matter which kinds of LEDs, we're using 12 volt or 5 volt LEDs, or even 24 volt, if you've got those, fail. Totally agree. Better to have multiple fail safes. Yep. If you're as long as I'm understanding electricity correctly, which I hopefully am, regardless of what kind of LEDs you have, you're going to probably be adding voltage if you're having long runs. Okay, if you're not having long runs, then you're probably not going to have a lot of LEDs and you're not going to worry about current overload anyways. But if you're getting into these hundreds of LEDs where you potentially have, 30 amps running through a 22 gauge wire, you're also in those situations going to have multiple points of injection of power. Now, if you're just tapping in power, you're still going to only have sort of 2 paths of current, right? There'll be current going through the LED power lines, and then there'll be current going through your injection lines, right? Where it's just voltage. It's not going through the LED strips. It's just voltage, and you're popping in power in different places. Okay. So that wire will have, at the very beginning, will have the maximum amount of current flowing through it. So that's where you need to worry and make sure that that those wires are sized appropriately. I saw somebody made and each time you add separate wires, you're splitting your current. If you're adding pairs of wires, right? Hopefully I'm explaining this in a way that can be understood by somebody that hasn't looked at this very much, but every time you add a pair of wires, a different injection point, you're splitting your current. So instead of having maybe 30 amps running all through one pair of wires, if you have a second pair of wires that goes to a different point to inject voltage, now you've only got 15 amps on each of those pairs of wire. So problem solved. If your concern is that, I'm running too much current through my 22 gauge wires, which you probably don't want to be using 22 gauge wires very much anyways. 20 is probably fine. But regardless, we're just going to assume the worst, right? If you split that power injection, you're splitting your current. Or if you separate your power injection, if you make it so that you're injecting power in different places, and you're using multiple strings or multiple connections with different wires, you're going to be dividing your current every time. So you can quickly get your current in each pair of wires lower by adding different injection points and different power. Oh, I've been live for a while. Oh my gosh, look at that.
I didn't get an email saying that you were live. I didn't get an email that you were live.
Dun, 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 dun. This is yummy. I'm going to have to eat this while it's hot. You guys mind me chomping on chips? Every LED loses volts, so we inject power. Agreed. Good. Multiple wires, it's better. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's Quindor. Yes, he knows his stuff. Do you mention that? Do you talk about that in your video? Yum, Taco Bell. It's Z's Bell. That looks good. It does look good. It smells good too. Wish I could have you guys all smell it. So I will do some power testing stuff down the road, because I want to really get to the bottom of it and measure some current and see what it takes. The other thing to consider is we take at least in the US, the National Electrical Code, the NEC, as like the Bible. And it should be when someone is building something for you. If someone's building your house, you don't want them to cut corners. You want them to be very conservative. All right. When you're hanging LEDs, I guess, yes, we don't want anybody to burn their house down, but you don't have to follow the NEC. I know, right? Oh, they do a very conservative measurement of things. They don't want the wires to get hot at all. The wires can get pretty warm and not melt the insulation and not burn up and melt the metal, okay? So you can go beyond. There's not like a hard line that says because you're using 20 gauge wire, you can only use 7 amps or whatever it is, 13 amps or something. I don't know what the NEC limit is on 20 gauge wire, something like that. If it's, you can push that. You can push it quite a bit, and you're not going to melt your wires, and you're not going to melt your insulation. So there's the NEC ratings. If you search how much current can I put through a 20 gauge wire, you'll get an answer. And it'll be like 13 amps or something, 7 amps, something like that. That doesn't mean if you go to 8 amps, it's going to melt and it's going to burn your house down. It doesn't mean if you go to 10 amps, it's going to melt and burn your house down. I don't think anybody has done that. Those maybe some have. There's that one guy I watch on YouTube sometimes. No, 20 gauge wire. No, Mark, check it out. Check it out. It's not. 20 gauge wire is like, I want to say 22 gauge is like 7 amps and 20 is like 13 amps. Something like that. That's different than what it's different than what your electrician should do in your house, right? Because we talk about these LEDs, drawing multiple amps. If you get to the very last connection, right? So the very last connection on your string of LEDs, those are tiny little strips of copper. They're not even 20 gauge. And if your string of lights is running 5 amps, that little string of copper should just go poof. So either it's capable of handling more amps than we think it is, or it's not drawing as much current as we think it is. I don't want to say let's not be safe. There's some we can stretch a little bit beyond what the NEC says. 22 gauge wire, 6.3 amps. There you go, built by Ross. So 22 gauge wire is 6 amps. And 22 gauge wire is tiny. Depending on the strip quality, it's equivalent to a 32 or a 24 gauge wire. So it's tiny. Like that's your point of failure. So your wires, if you're running power injection, thank you, Quindor, that's great information. If you're running an injection pair of wires down the strip and they're 20 gauge or 22 gauge wires, that's not going to fail. What's going to fail is the strip, right? The current that's running through the strip in the LEDs. That's going to be your 24 gauge or lower, smaller. So I was just looking this up like last night. If you do the NEC, if you just look up wire gauge chart. And again, I don't want to encourage anybody to be dangerous, but I don't also want us to be unreasonably conservative. Because if you get too conservative, you start limiting what you're able to do. Like there was and the reason I was answering this a comment on I was answering a comment on the Facebook page, and it was and the comment was something like, if you're running, a few, I don't remember how many he said, but if you're running some number of LEDs, and it wasn't that many, it was like 120, then you need like number 4 gauge wire and 300 amps or something crazy, and it was just not right. And so making those kinds of assumptions basically puts you out of the ability to do these things. If you're thinking, I can't run 150 LEDs because I need 100 amp power supply and number 4 gauge wire, you're not going to be able to play with LEDs anymore. Holy delicious. That's good. I will do that. Seaward, I will blow up some LED strips for you. I will. Yeah. So, Macedon TV, help me out, man. Like, where's the chart? I know that the NEC has these things that says, I don't know if this is it or not, but they have their things that say, you should only run this much current through this gauge, right? I wish it would go lower. It doesn't really go lower. 14 gauge wire, 15 amps, but this is different. Like what I'm saying is you're not going to burn your house down if you run 20 amps through something that has a rating here of 15 or 17. Sorry guys, I haven't eaten, so I'm really hungry. Gauge number. What I noticed when I looked at most of these was they're all for big loads and big currents because they don't, nobody cares about the small stuff. And so these aren't listing current ratings. Circuit in your house is designated to take 125%. If you peak at 20 and maintain it lower, it's safe. Yeah. And that's an important consideration because if you look up recommended power consumption for LEDs, for these LEDs, they're going to say 60 milliamps per LED. But that's with max brightness. And even like Rob measured that and he got lower values than that. And he was measuring it. It is tasty, and I want to eat it while it's hot. Okay, sorry, I Google searched the wrong thing. AWG max current, yeah. Great. And that's another thing too. Thank you, Tom. 20 amps at 5 volts is a lot different than 20 amps at 220 volts. That's why I need, I don't think the low voltage, high current stuff hasn't really been established. All this information, even on this chart here, this is all based on what you want when somebody builds your house and you're dealing with 120 or 220 volts. Hey, Adrian. But is it exactly the same when you're working with 5 volts or 12 volts? Yeah. Current should be current, right? I mean, it should still be hot, but I don't know. It hasn't been as well established. I don't think we've been dealing with low voltage, high current circuitry long enough to have a lot of this same kind of stuff established, or at least it's not published like it is here. So here we go. Gauge wire. So 20 gauge wire. This says, where's the current? Maximum amps for chassis wiring. I don't know what they mean exactly by chassis wiring, but 22 gauge, it says 7 amps. 20 gauge says 11 amps. The voltage doesn't push the current as well at high voltage. Means it does it better? Yeah, it's better to measure in watts probably too. We talk about, but sorry, That's good. This is really good. Power transmission column. Well, but power transmission, now you're talking, how long is that? Because power transmission, you're talking like up there in the sky, right? You're talking about the stuff that's... So what does that power transmission column mean? So then what is the difference with power transmission versus chassis? I looked that up exactly before, but what is it? That's why we use such high voltages to run power across the country. This was good discussion, guys. Thank you for bringing this up. Yeah, distance matters, right? Because you're gonna have more resistance and so higher heat. Should I mute my mic when I eat my chips? Hello, home automation freaks. Hey, anonymous. We're having a good power discussion. Probably won't be able to really get to the bottom of this just right now, but so let's pick up this discussion though another time. We do need to have it. I want to have it, and I want to know. Am I going to burn my house down? I'm pretty confident I'm not, but I want to know, and I want to know what it's going to take. And then I'll come back from there. If you want to stay safe, you want to stay conservative, no problem. Do what the NEC says. use use 20 gauge wires. Make sure you've got fuses like what Quindor builds in his boards. Use the 0.06 amps per LED to calculate your size of everything, and you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But I want to see what I can push it to, because I think there's some push room. Put a smoke detector above your LED boards. That'll work. Have a fire extinguisher handy. I'm not getting into that many crazy numbers of LEDs either. So maybe that's why I'm not as worried about it. I mean, I think my longest run of LEDs is like 350. So it's not that bad. Your insurance will not agree. Probably true. Probably true. That's why I have to be sure that I'm not gonna burn my house down. And if I'm confident that I'm not gonna burn my house down and I'm wrong, then I'm screwed. But I don't think I'm there. Diversity factor, oh boy. Yeah, when not running full white all the time, you can get away with running thinner wires. And that's, I think, the biggest factor is when we're talking about 0.06 amps per LED, per RGB LED, we're talking about max brightness. White, max brightness on every channel, full white. How often do you do that? Never. Literally never do you run. I don't. Maybe some people do. Maybe some people use if you're using your RGB lights to show white light, you should probably consider using RGBW, and you'd be better off. You'd have better looking white light, and you'd solve some of these current problems probably anyways, because it'd be less current, right? For that, instead of having 3 LEDs all blasting full blast, you have one that's just made to be white instead of made to be a different color. And with these lights, they're dim, they're different colors, they're on, they're off, they're like, that's the whole point. So a strip of 100 LEDs is not going to require 0.06 amps per LED ever. It shouldn't, unless you're doing something different with them. Yeah, RGBW is an answer for that. Yep. Anyways, I don't want to have I hope this doesn't feel like an argument. I don't want it to feel like an argument. We do need to be safe. We do need to have a discussion, and we need to pound some of this stuff out. So I want to do that. So I appreciate you bringing it up. I've looked at these things and thought about this a long time ago. Way back when, here I'll reveal something to you. I haven't probably said much before, but way back when I was probably 20, I was working for an electrical engineer. I was doing drafting. We were doing industrial buildings. We were doing stuff in Arizona, like Motorola plants and Intel when they were building back then. Anyways, it was a long time ago, early 90s. And in order to help our company, I took some classes and actually passed the electrical inspector class. I know it's probably despicable now to think that I'm promoting the idea of pushing the limits of the NEC, but there was a day when I passed the test that would have allowed me to be an electrical inspector. So that's been 20 years ago. I don't remember everything, and I'm certainly not still capable of doing that. I'm not a master of the code like a lot of people are, but I'm not completely ignorant of it either. And the ability that we do have in practical applications to stretch it a little. That's all. So, heavy night watching Quindor, then DrZzs. I'm excited to watch Quindor's video. Let's do the thing. We don't have any kids here. We've had the Bautissimo thing running for like an hour now. It's been running forever. I only have 79 people. Really? Is that it? Nobody else wants to join? Join up. If you haven't done the enter thing, we're going to do the stickers right now. And I don't have kids here to do the stickers with me, so it's just going to be me. You're right. It isn't. I think the problem too, Macedo TV, is that people don't know it. Most people miss up I'm answering questions and people are messing up, they're mixing up voltage and current. Or like, oh, I've got like somebody that I said when I was answering that comment, somebody said that they had a power supply that was 60 amps and 300 watts. I went, no, no, so people, and it's too bad. I think that we should be doing a better job in just general school of teaching about electricity. Instead, I don't know how it is in all your other countries, but in the U.S., our kids are still learning to name the kinds of clouds and to know what's going to bring rain and stuff. Well, that's all nice. At 60 amps at 5 volts is 300 watts. Okay. So now I don't know what I'm talking about. It was a mistake. I don't remember what it was, but it was a mix up of volts and amps and stuff. And anyways, but they're still teaching like how to read the clouds to know if you're going to get rain on your crops. They're not teaching this stuff, the different volts and amps and what matters when it comes to electricity. And we deal with electricity way more than we deal with crops. Anyways. All right, let's do the giveaway. Ready, guys? I'm going to end it. I'll give you guys another couple seconds. I'm going to take another bite of my thing here. Yeah, what kind of physics class? Yeah. It was physics. We did have to have physics for med school. I liked physics, obviously. I think it would be easy knowing me. All right, you guys ready? Just joined up. How many hours have I missed? You've missed a couple hours at least. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but it's bad. I'm eating a burrito and some chips that Mrs. Z's gave me, and it's delicious. I'm starving. I had a waffle for breakfast at like 4 or 5 hours ago. It wasn't big. Okay, you guys ready? Everybody's entered? Let's do it. Number 1. Drum roll, please. Pick a winner. Oh, built by Ross. That's awesome. Thanks for your contributions today, my friend. Right away, send me your address in Discord so I can get you on an envelope and we can get your stickers in the mail. All right? Here we go. Number 2. What do you say? 4 packs of ramen. You've eaten 4 packs of ramen while I've been streaming? Boom! Fabian wins. I wonder sometimes, I feel like a lot of the same people win. I know Built by Ross has never won before. Maybe Fabian never has either, but glad to see that we get some diversity. So Fabian, you win. Make sure you get your address to me ASAP, prontito, in Discord, and I will get your stickers in the mail. All right. That was a great day, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having some fun with me and for going through some LED stuff. Lots more good LED stuff to do. Air Cookie's going to be with me on Sunday. Frank, are you going to work on this tomorrow? Are you streaming tomorrow? Are you going to work on this integration thing live tomorrow? I'm home. I'll have to check it out. Great stream. Great discussion. Love it. All right, guys. Nothing funny today. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, adios.